Long before the story of Eve was whispered among the leaves of Eden, before the forbidden fruit ever tasted sweet, there was another woman, a figure almost lost to time, cloaked in shadows and whispers, Lilith. She was not the obedient companion shaped from a man's rib, but a woman born of the same earth as Adam, equal in stature and spirit. Yet her tale is unlike any other, a story that twists through ancient myths, forgotten texts, and the deepest fears of human imagination. Lilith's story challenges everything we thought we knew about the beginning of humanity. Our earliest sacred texts tell two different creation stories. In one, mankind is created male and female together in the very image of God. It speaks of a shared origin, a balance. But another story unfolds with Eve being fashioned from Adam's side, a creation born second as a helper. This puzzling contradiction has sparked countless interpretations over centuries. Among them rises a legend of a first wife, proud and unyielding, who would not bow down. Lilith's origins are tangled in ancient words and forgotten scrolls. Medieval Jewish writings call her Adam's first wife, fashioned from the same soil, sharing his breath, yet refusing to surrender her will. When Adam demanded submission, Lilith refused to lie beneath him. Equality was her demand, a sacred right, not a privilege to be granted. Her refusal was not met with understanding but with anger, and in that moment, Lilith chose exile, leaving the garden and Adam behind. She called upon the sacred name of God, uttering a power so profound it allowed her to escape. From that day, she became something more, something feared, a spirit of the night, a mother of demons, a figure of both darkness and strength. But Lilith's story is far older than these scrolls. To grasp her true nature, we must journey even further, to the dawn of civilization, the cradle of Sumer. There, in the whispering winds and stormy skies, Lilith first appeared, not as one, but many, a class of night spirits, fierce and untamed. Known as the Lilu, these spirits haunted the shadows, bringing illness and fear, but also holding the wild, chaotic forces of nature. She was tied to the owl, the mysterious night creature whose haunting call echoes through ancient lore. Owls were messengers of the unknown, creatures of the dark that stirred both reverence and dread. Lilith carried this symbol with her, embodying the untamed night. In the Bible, Lilith's presence is fleeting but telling. Isaiah speaks of night creatures that haunt desolate places. Some translations even name her directly. In these brief verses lies the echo of a deeper myth, one of power that defies easy understanding. This is only the beginning of Lilith's journey, a tale woven through the fabric of human history, mythology, and spirit. As we unravel her story, we glimpse not just a woman, but a force, a challenge to authority, a symbol of independence, and a mirror to our own complex humanity. To truly understand Lilith, we must journey back over 5,000 years, to the ancient cities that rose along the Fertile Crescent, where the first whispers of civilization echoed beneath endless skies. In Sumer, the world's oldest known civilization, stories and spirits filled the wind and the night. Among these was a shadowy presence, not a singular being, but a class of spirits known as the Lilu. These Lilu were wild creatures of the storm and the desert night, invisible forces believed to bring illness, misfortune, and death. They were the restless winds that howled through the empty places, the dark breath of chaos itself. Unlike the later image of Lilith as one woman, here she was many, a spirit of the night, part of the very fabric of the unseen world. Among the Sumerians, the night was a dangerous realm, where such spirits lurked between shadows, and to be caught unprotected was to invite disaster. Calmed of the oldest written mentions of Lilith is hidden in the tale of Inanna and the Huppu tree. Inanna, goddess of love and war, planted a sacred tree along the Euphrates, intending to craft from its wood a throne and a bed, symbols of power and rest. But the tree became home to strange creatures. A serpent coiled in its roots, the fierce Anzu bird guarding its branches, and Lilith herself, described as a dark maid dwelling within the tree's hollow trunk. When the hero Gilgamesh arrived, he drove the serpent away, frightened off the bird, and banished Lilith to the wilderness. Here she became a figure of the untamed wild, not yet demonized, but a troublesome force of nature. Lilith's association with the owl is one of the most enduring symbols across cultures. Owls, with their haunting calls and nocturnal presence, have long been seen as omens, messengers between worlds, guardians of secrets, and harbingers of death. The scientific name for the little owl, Athenia noctua, shares roots with Lilith's name, hinting at a link that stretches back into the ancient shadows. Her image as the screech owl or night monster captures the eerie, mysterious essence of the night, a fitting guise for a spirit who walks between light and dark. Even in the Bible, Lilith's name appears, though fleetingly and ambiguously. Isaiah 34:14 speaks of a creature called Lilith, a night inhabitant of desolate places, variously translated as a screech owl, night monster, or left as her proper name. This cryptic reference preserves the mystery. Was Lilith a demon, a spirit, or something else entirely? The ambiguity invites endless fascination, suggesting that even the sacred texts held space for shadows not fully understood. As we walk alongside Lilith through these ancient lands, we see a figure born of the winds and storms, part myth, part fear, part nature's wild pulse. She is neither wholly evil nor simply misunderstood. She embodies the restless night itself, the wildness that refuses to be tamed. Lilith's story, unlike any other, turns at the moment of defiance, when she refused to accept the place laid out for her. Bound by no law but her own will, she chose freedom over submission, walking away from the perfect garden and the man she once called husband. But what did it mean to leave Eden? For Lilith, exile was not just a physical departure. It was a transformation of identity and power. God, unwilling to lose what was created equal, sent three angels, Senoi, Sensenoi, and Semangelov, to call Lilith back. They found her by the shores of the Red Sea, where the winds carried both promise and peril. But Lilith would not return. Instead, she spoke a name so sacred, so powerful, that it broke the angel's hold, setting her free once more. In that moment, Lilith became something new, a creature of the night, winged and wild, no longer bound by earthly laws or mortal bonds. She transformed from a woman into a spirit, a demoness feared in stories and whispered in prayers. Legends tell of Lilith's darker deeds, of her haunting lonely places, preying on men who sleep alone and threatening newborn children. She was a shadow in the night, the fear that crept behind closed doors. Yet she was also more complicated than simple evil, a force of nature both destructive and protective. Communities sought to defend themselves, crafting spells and amulets to ward off her presence. They wore these talismans to shield their children, to guard against the unseen. Lilith's power was both feared and acknowledged, her presence woven into the fabric of daily life. Even sacred texts like the Dead Sea Scrolls mention Lilith, among other malevolent spirits, a reminder of the chaos she embodies and the deep human fear of the unknown. Her story also became entwined with cosmic struggles, paired with Samael, the dark angel of severity, as his consort and partner in the eternal dance of light and shadow. Together, they represented a balance of forces, creation and destruction, order and chaos. Lilith's exile was not the end, but a new beginning. Her transformation symbolizing the tension between freedom and fear, power and isolation. Her legend speaks to the eternal human struggle with authority, autonomy, and the wildness that resides within us all. Lilith's journey did not end with exile. Far from fading into myth, her figure grew richer, darker, and more enigmatic within the depths of Jewish mysticism. In the secret teachings of the Kabbalah, the mystical heart of Judaism, Lilith is no mere demoness. She is a cosmic force, a symbol of untamed feminine energy that both opposes and completes the divine order. The 13th century text known as the Zohar reveals Lilith as the consort of Samael, the angel associated with severity and judgment. Here, she is no longer simply a rebellious woman, but a powerful, supernatural queen, embodying chaos and desire. Her presence challenges the boundaries between sacred and profane, light and shadow. In the mystical narrative, Lilith seduces men in their dreams, draining their vitality while threatening newborns and mothers. Yet, she is also a figure of transformation, a representation of the feminine spirit unbound by convention, fiercely independent and unyielding. Effective charms bearing the names of Lilith's pursuers, the three angels Sanois and Zenoi and Samanjalov, were worn to shield children from her harm. This duality, protector and predator, marks Lilith's ambiguous role in spiritual life, a figure to be feared, respected, and understood. Kabbalists see Lilith as a necessary counterpart in the cosmic balance, embodying the wild, creative forces that exist alongside divine harmony. Her story echoes the human experience of struggle between freedom and restraint, passion and order. Lilith's mystical legacy extends beyond demonology. She challenges the strict binaries imposed by society, gender roles, spiritual hierarchies, and moral judgments. In her, we see the ancient fear and fascination with the unknown feminine, a force that cannot be contained, tamed, or silenced. Centuries after being cast as a demon and a symbol of chaos, Lilith's story began to shift, from fear to fascination, from darkness to light. In the evolving landscape of modern culture, Lilith emerged anew as a beacon of female strength, independence. Her legend was reclaimed by those who saw in her defiance a mirror of their own struggles against oppression and inequality. No longer the villainous temptress, Lilith became an emblem of autonomy, a woman who refused to bow to authority, who chose freedom over subjugation. For many, Lilith represents the courage to reject societal expectations, to stand firm in one's beliefs and identity. Her refusal to submit to Adam became a rallying cry, a narrative of empowerment woven into the tapestry of feminist thought. Today, Lilith is a popular name, symbolizing a new generation of women embracing her spirit, bold, unapologetic, and free. She inspires art, literature, film, and music, an eternal muse reflecting our changing understanding of gender and power. Her image is multifaceted, sometimes dark and mysterious, sometimes radiant and fierce, always compelling. Lilith's journey from demonized outcast to celebrated icon reveals the power of myth to evolve, adapt, and speak to our deepest truths. In embracing Lilith, modern culture confronts ancient fears and transforms them, turning a figure once feared into one of hope and strength. Lilith's story is like a river, winding, shifting, never quite the same from one telling to the next. From ancient Sumerian winds to sacred texts, from whispered fears to powerful symbols of freedom, her legend flows through the currents of human history. What is it about Lilith that continues to captivate us? Is it the allure of the forbidden, the call of independence, or perhaps the mystery of the night itself, that place where shadows hide and dreams are born? Each generation sees Lilith anew. In some, she is the dark demoness, a cautionary tale of rebellion. In others, she is a mother, a protector, a goddess of untamed power. And for many today, she is a symbol of strength, defiance, and the unyielding spirit of the feminine. Her legacy reminds us that history is not a single story, but a tapestry woven from many voices, some forgotten, some silenced, others celebrated. Lilith stands at the crossroads of myth and reality, light and shadow, tradition and transformation. What if the story we have always been told, of the first woman, shaped from a man's rib, obedient and silent, is only half the truth? What if before Eve there was a woman who chose freedom over fear, who dared to say no when the world demanded yes? A woman who left paradise not because she was tempted, but because she refused to be owned. Lilith's story is unfinished, a living myth still unfolding in our hearts and minds. She challenges us to face our own shadows, to embrace the wild parts within, to honor the complexity of our desires, fears, and dreams. Thank you for walking this path with whispers of heaven. If Lilith's story stirred something within you, share your thoughts below and help keep her legend alive. Like, subscribe, and join us for more journeys into the mysteries that shape our world. Until next time, may you find strength in your own story and courage in the whispers of the past.